So, JaVon, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me about why you call Arkansas home. Let's go ahead and dive in. JaVon, why do you live in Arkansas?
So I live in Arkansas because my family is originally from Arkansas. My dad grew up in the Little Rock area. My mom grew up in the Saline County area. And when I was about the age of 2, they decided to move out to the more rural side of Arkansas. We live probably about 30 minutes outside of Saline County in Malvern, Arkansas. So lived out there my entire life. And honestly, I feel like now it's to the point like I'm grassrooted here. So I love this state, even though we're going through some crazy times right now. This state really is my home.
Wow, so you grew up in a rural part of Arkansas. What was that like growing up?
I'd be lying if I said it was easy, if I said it was a breeze. Um, Being one of 4 half-black kids at an all-white school was very challenging. Um, Ultimately, I would like to say I was a chameleon, because I'm the type of person that I used to want everyone to be comfortable around me because I wanted to be a safe person for everyone. So all of the hurt that I was feeling, I kept it in until after I graduated. So getting through high school, getting through those years, it was hard. There were a lot of dark days. There's honestly times that I still don't fully remember from being there because of the trauma. But I am thankful I grew up for where I grew up because it taught me how to be unconditional with everything that I do, whether that be giving love, giving back, whatever I can do, I'm doing it with the expectation of getting nothing but gratification out of it.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Do you have any, you know, I really appreciate you sharing the challenges of growing up, and it sounds like race had a lot to do with why that was challenging for you in your elementary school, middle
Absolutely.
school, high school experience. Do you have any instances that you want to share? And totally up to you, but do you have memories that you found, to be challenges in your high school experience, if you want to share one?
Absolutely. There's two that I kind of come straight to mind. In third grade, we had these folders that we had to get signed weekly by our parents. And this one week, I forgot literally until the last second. I'm about to leave the house to get on the bus, and I'm like, "Hey, mom, I need you to sign this folder for me." And she's like, "Okay." The only utensil that was near her was a green crayon. So I get to school, teacher collects the folders, everything, and we're like probably halfway through a test at this point, and she literally comes to my desk, says, "I need to speak with you outside." And so I'm like, okay, well, I was in the middle of a problem, so I was trying to finish it real quick. Well, she ended up grabbing me up by my arm and pulling me out into the hallway. She didn't actually ask me if it were me. She just assumed that it were me that signed the folder. Because she just kept accusing me, saying, "I know you signed this. Why did you sign it in a green crown?" At this point, being an 8-year-old child, my instincts are kicking in, fight or flight. And so I just start crying. And she's like, "Only guilty people act this way. Why are you doing this?" And I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. My mom signed this." Well, I ended up getting detention the day I had tutoring the same day. So when my mom came and picked me up, I told her what had happened. And she instantly went down there, told the teacher, like, "Look, if there are any more reoccurring problems like this, I'm going to go above your head. It was me that signed this. I was in a rush. This is what happened." Well, after that incident, like the teacher apologized to my mom, but for the next couple of months, it felt like I was targeted in the classroom whenever it came to like just simple questions, really. Like, I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but I remember it just being very simple questions, and I would be the one to get called out. And then if I was just the slightest bit wrong, it was like I was being bullied by the teacher almost. Um,
I'm so sorry
Another
that
ins
happened.
Yeah, me too. But it is what it is. I feel like I really where I'm going with that is my senior year. At the time, I just identified as a cisgender lesbian, because I was still very unsure about who I was. And it was my senior year. It was basketball homecoming, so it was January 2016. Um, the seniors had all approached me and were like, "Hey, we want to nominate you for, the senior category, but we want to make sure it's okay with you." And I was like, "Yeah, if that's what y'all want to do, yeah, I'm okay with that." And so I was nominated. And
What's the
right before
senior
they were
category? Sorry, just real quick. What's the senior category?
So for the senior category, they put at least 6 names on a nomination, and the top three can either get queen, senior princess, or senior maid, which is
Okay.
pretty much the top three spots for the homecoming court.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
Um, yeah. So right before they released the nomination sheets to the classes, I was pulled into my principal's office and I was told, like, "Hey, just so that you're aware, like, you are nominated. Are you comfortable with that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm comfortable with that as long as I don't have to wear a dress if I am a winner." And they were like, "Yeah, no, that's part of our traditions. Like, you have to wear a dress, da 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 da." And I was like, "Okay, cool." My mom just so happened to be coming up to the school to get something from me that day. And so I went ahead and told her, and I was like, "Hey, just letting you know, I have been nominated for this, but they're telling me that I have to wear a dress. I don't want to do that." And she was like, "Okay." She was like, "So what do we need to do?" And I've said, "Well, we probably need to schedule a meeting with our superintendent." And she was like, "Okay." So we went in the next day to have a meeting with our superintendent. We were there for probably 2 hours, because it was a constant of going back and forth on, well, these are how our traditions are. And I literally asked them, I said, "Okay, if these are the traditions, where's the rule book? Where does it specifically state that I have to wear a dress?" Nobody could produce this evidence for me. So I was like, "Okay, so there's no book. You're just going by word. So why can't we make these changes? Why do I have to wear a dress?" Never could get an answer, but they kept telling me no. So my mom was like, "Okay, then we'll just take this to a news station and get this blown up." And at that point, that's when it was like, "Okay, hold on. Let's reconsider this." And ultimately, I was allowed to wear a suit. So that's where I feel like I definitely left my print on that school, especially doing it in my senior year. I was only one of two out gay kids at our school at the time. So I really feel like I definitely shifted the momentum in that community. Like, even if I didn't know people my senior year in that community, everyone knew who I was because
Mm.
I always got stares anytime I went to do anything at the school. Anytime I was just out and about in the community, people knew who I was.
Thank you for sharing that, JaVon. Wow. I'm really glad you were able to go and wear what you wanted to wear.
Yeah.
So, obviously you face challenges growing up because of your identities. Why stay in Arkansas?
I believe people will have the heart to change. Nobody just wants to have the uncomfortable conversations that comes with that because people don't like being uncomfortable. But we can't truly grow if we stay comfortable. So I choose to stay in Arkansas because nobody should consistently have to run from who they are. We should be able to just live our lives the way that we want to.
What are some of your more positive memories of living in the state?
Oh, man. Oof. One thing I did love for my own community was the fact that even though all of the adults in the community were very clearly against me, my peers stood up with me and made sure that I understood that I was not just fighting this by myself. Like, they were already in the works of trying to strike up protest happening in the event that the school wouldn't let me wear a suit my senior year. So that was really awesome to experience in such a small community, never really hearing of those type of things happening. So that was really awesome. And one of my favorite memories from this state is honestly just being able to go out and experience how beautiful our state is. Because there's so many nature things to do here, and I just love being in nature that I can literally go on a new trail every day, somewhere different in the state, and have a different perspective, a different view of our state.
What are some of your favorite places to go?
Ooh, definitely the Buffalo River. Um, There's actually a river right behind Malvern Walmart. It's the Washita National Park White River. That one's one of my favorites. It's a dam led river. And my favorite place to just be, the most serene place I've ever been, is honestly Petit Jean Mountain.
Love Petit Jean too. Love, something that's been a common thread of a lot of these interviews is how beautiful the state is and the
It's
beauty that,
unmatched,
yeah,
honestly.
it's a really, really beautiful place. Um, what's just a couple more questions, JaVon. What is the thing that you appreciate about Arkansans, the people that live in Arkansas the most?
Even though there are quite a few different opinions in the state, the one thing that's constant is the sense of family and the Southern hospitality. And that is one thing that I most definitely love about Arkansans, is because you go to a sporting event for the Arkansas Razorbacks and we could be playing LSU that day. And that is one of the most hated rivalries in the SEC. And you go and people are still going to be loving, still people are still going to be there to have a good time. Everyone's going to make sure everyone's having a good time. And I think that's really awesome. And I just wish it would convert into just everyday thinking, not just those set things.
So that was going to be my last question. What are your hopes for Arkansas moving forward?
Open eyes, open eyes and open minds. That's the wish I have, not just for Arkansas, but the nation as a whole. Because if there were more open eyes and more open minds, a lot of this would not be happening. There wouldn't be children between the ages of 6 to 20 having to fight not only for their rights to live, but potentially for their rights just to stay with their family. And now it's starting to convert over from the 20 years plus. Like, it's to the point that no matter what age you are in this state, in this country, you are no longer safe. And safety needs to come back.
JaVon Myles, thank you for taking the time to chat with me about why you call Arkansas home. It's been a real pleasure.
Absolutely.